Welcome to Telebyte's video series on automated remote testing. This video provides an example of using Telebyte switching products to switch DPU or DSLAM ports and two groups of CPEs into 16 DSL lines. The user will be able to access this setup remotely to set the length of the lines and specify which CPEs to switch the line to. Let's take a look at the equipment we need for the setup, beginning with the Telebyte CFA24A cable farm automation switch for twisted pair cable. This product can be used to automate rate versus reach testing to compare the data rate performance versus loop length. Cable is punched down into the switch to form up to 24 channels that can be controlled programmatically. Up to 5 segments of twisted pair cable can be punched down into each channel. Each segment is created by punching down the tip and ring ends into punch-down blocks. The length of each cable segment determines which lengths can be formed for a given channel. These lengths are included or excluded programmatically to form the different loop lengths. The CPE devices and DPU or DSLAM ports are punched down into the top and bottom connectors on the switch. The second Telebyte product needed is the 600 SM16 1x2 that provides 16 1x2 matrices in one module. The Telebyte 600 SM16 1x2 switching matrix will do the job of switching each DSLAM DPU port to one of two CPEs. The module is installed in the 600 6SL chassis that provides power and communication and accepts up to 6 of the modules. Our setup will require only one module. The switching matrix module uses Cat7 Terra connectors on the front and back. Each Cat7 Terra connector accepts 4 twisted pairs. The most common custom cable will terminate in 4 Cat6A female connectors, which are installed in a patch panel. What else do we need for our example? A 16-port DSLAM or DPU, patch panels, and 2 groups of 16 CPEs. Let's connect the 600 switching module, the CFA24A, the patch panels, the DPU DSLAM, and the CPEs for our example. First, the 600 switch. This is connected from the front and back to patch panels using the custom Cat7 Terra cables. Next, the CFA24A. Here's a close-up of 5 cable segments, each containing 16 twisted pairs, punched down into 16 channels. The top of the switch is connected to a patch panel on the CPE side. The bottom is connected to a patch panel on the DSLAM DPU side. The length of each cable segment determines what line lengths can be formed. Here we see that including or excluding a segment changes the line length. There are several possible combinations which can all be remotely controlled. Here's an example of switching 4 DSLAM or DPU ports. Each port will be switched to one CPE in Group A or a CPE in Group B. We have our CPE groups, patch panels, 600 switch, DSLAM or DPU, and the CFA24A. Here is an illustration of the equipment setup showing the connections for 4 lines. For DPU port 1, the signal will travel up the line through all 5 segments of the CFA24A and then to the back of the 600 switch. From there, the signal can be switched to either CPE Group A or CPE Group B. We then continue our example with DPU port 2 as the signal travels up through the 5 segments of channel 2 of the CFA 24A to the back of the switch, and this time the signal can be switched to either CPE 14 in Group A or CPE 14 in Group B. For DPU port 3, we'll see the signal traveling up channel 3 of the CFA 24A and eventually being switched to CPE 15 in Group A or CPE 15 in Group B. And we end our example with DPU port 4 with the signal traveling up channel 4 of the CFA 24A, where it can then be switched through the 600 switch to CPE 16 in Group A or CPE 16 in Group B. Remote commands may be used to automate the test setup. The remote user can send remote commands to the network to control the DSLAM or DPU, set line lengths for any DSL line, and to specify which device to switch to. Additional commands are available to terminate a line, show a line status, and more. Here's an example of using a remote command for the CFA 24A. In the example, line 1 is set to a length of 50 meters. Here's an example of remote commands for the 600 SM16 1x2. In the example, the lines shown in red are illustrating setting a connection in slot 1 for output A and associating that with input A1. A1 is the location of the CPE. Here we see the same command used, except in this case we have output A now associated with input path A2 and the CPE to which it is connected. Both the CFA 24A and the switching matrix module can be controlled via a web browser as an alternative to using remote commands. There are a variety of 600 modules available. There is a 1 1x32, 2 1x16, 4 1x8s, 8 1x4s, 16 1x2s, which we have been looking at today, and then there is a coax cable version, which is 1 1x16 matrix. Thank you for your interest in Telebyte switching products for automated testing. There are a wide variety of possible configurations, including the use of these products on both sides of your test setup. We would welcome an opportunity to speak with you and learn more about your testing needs. Please go to our website at telebytebroadband.com or send us an email to sales@telebytebroadband.com.